How do you learn how to improvise? It's a big question. Well, today I'm going to give you some very concrete steps to get you on the path to really fluid improvisation. It's going to be a great foundation for the rest of your playing career. So let's dig in. I think the biggest challenge as an improviser, especially when you're starting out, is getting from this chord change to this chord change to this chord change and so on. It's connecting them together. We want to get into all this fancy vocabulary, but we don't have a solid foundation of connection. So what these steps will do today is they'll get us that solid foundation. I'm going to play some chord changes two different ways. Why don't you tell me what sounds better? Ooh. I can't even. Oh man, it's kind of boring, wasn't it? How about this? To me, that sounded much more musical. It sounded like you could hear the changes. It sounded rhythmic. The first way is a way that a lot of people learn improvisation or are taught it. Learn scales, chord scale relationships. Perfectly valid. Sorry, my eyes are watering from my yawn. I didn't take acting class, in case you're wondering. But the second way, it was just chord tones. To me, that's how you should learn to improvise, is getting to the point where you can play chord tones over any tune. So to get there, let's talk about these steps. We're going to use the first half of Autumn Leaves as our demo. The first thing we need to do, well, first of all, you need to know your seventh chords, your basic seventh chords. You certainly need to know your thirds and sevenths. I've got a video that goes through all of the basic seventh chords, and there's a free sheet that comes with it in all 12 keys. So if you want a refresher, check it out. But now let's talk about these steps. So step one, whatever tune you're working on, we're going to play only thirds on every chord change, and the note change will go with the harmonic rhythm of the chords. So you're going to play the third of every chord in any register, but try to keep them close. Don't leap all over the instrument. Try to play to the nearest third when possible. Okay, in any octave. You'll see what I mean in a minute. The next step, we're going to do sevenths through the form. Okay, that's step one and two. You can already see that these are going to help with, if you can't do thirds and sevenths starting out without thinking about it, that's worth going back and doing. I've said this a lot in my videos. I go back to this stuff all the time. So don't think inside of our brain we can get these voices in our head that said you don't need to do that anymore. You shouldn't do it anymore. You're above that. No, we're never above going back and kind of cleaning up and just making sure that foundation's always there. Just a quick interruption to tell you that if you haven't seen it yet, I have a free workshop called Play Jazz Piano Voicings with Confidence. It lays down a great foundation, well, to get you to play jazz piano voicings with more confidence. We talk about some of the essential things that you should do to become more fluent and more well-versed in playing chords on the piano. So click the link below. It's in the description. Totally free, and I'll see you in there. So we did the third, we did the seventh. Now what we're going to do is we're going to combine them together, but the only rule that you want to try to adhere to as much as possible, so we're going to play third and seventh in any order. Whenever you get to a chord change, you want to try to move to the closest note when possible. Don't be too strict about it, but that's just kind of an overarching loose goal. I'll show you what I mean. You see how I'm getting to the closest. Now let's get to the seventh chord tones. Why should we use only chord tones, 1, 3, 5, 7? Well, they spell out the harmony. When you only have 4 notes to deal with, it's less to think about. Having less to think about and less to play forces you to think rhythmically, and it will help you hear resolutions between chords. Something I like to have students do before we get into this is kind of an in-between step. We're going to play 1, 3, 5, 7 in any order out of time. And you can play over each chord change for as long as you want. The goal of this is to just explore the chord tones in any configuration and in any order of notes. We're not worrying about inversions, arpeggios. We're just using 1, 3, 5, 7 as our pool of notes in any order. So what I would do is just play a low bass note in the left hand, and then just play each chord change as you want. So here's the first chord change of the form C minor 7. I'm just getting used to let's go to F7. It also gets your hands used to moving and getting used to, odd combination. B flat. Sorry. Played one wrong note there. E flat. You see, I'm not worrying about any pattern. I'm just playing a half diminished. D7. Whoops. A little sloppy there, sorry. G minor. Aside from my sloppiness, you get the idea, right? That's a really nice exercise to do. Plus, it just gets you seeing the piano in a different way. So the next step is we're going to now arpeggiate seventh chords. And we're going to go 1, 3, 5, 7 from bottom to top. It's going to be 4 eighth notes and then anticipated into the next beat. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? I'm going to slow it down just a little bit so you can really hear this. A variation of this now, we're going to do 1, 3, 5, 7. Now we're going to do 1, 5, 3, 7. Instead of 1, 3, 3, 5, 7, we're going to 1, 5, 3, 7. This is just, these are patterns now. These are good to know. So these get your hands used to seeing, running a pattern through the changes, but still a very organized way because we're just doing 1, 3, 5, 7, just in different orders. So 1, 5, 3, 7. Same rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last variation, we're going to do 1, 3, 7, 5. Okay? Okay, now we're going to play 1, 3, 5, 7 in any order as quarter notes. And the goal is whatever note you're about to go to on the next chord, try to move by a step, resolve without a huge leap of an interval. You'll see what I mean. We're going to play continuous quarter notes, going through the chord changes, and you'll start to see that and hear that there's going to be a little contour now because now we're connecting chord changes together. Check it out. You can already hear the notes are starting to connect. And one thing I want to point out here, you might be watching some of this going, it's like, well, this isn't improvising. It's like, well, no. To learn to improvise, you have to be very methodical in how you get to it. There's a difference between practicing and playing, and I've said this a lot. This is practicing. You're practicing a skill that will lend to you being more creative down the road. But you have to have this foundation. Otherwise, you're just not going to feel great playing. Okay, off the soapbox. The next one now is we're going to play continuous eighth notes. Same thing. Okay? Continuous eighth notes through the changes. And I'll slow it down even more just so you can hear it at a slower tempo. Now let's incorporate all the different elements that we've done. Let's do quarter note value, eighth note value, eighth rest, quarter rest, in any order like we've done, but now we're going to introduce some rhythm to the equation. All right, here are the steps. Play thirds only through the form of the tune you're working on. Next one, play seventh only through the chord tune that you're working on. Then combine 3 and 7, trying to get smooth voice leading from one chord change to the next. Don't do a lot of leaping, okay? Before 4, I guess, play quarter notes in any order out of time just to get used to seeing them on your instrument in any configuration. Playing just like a drone for the chord you're on, and then switch. The next one, arpeggiate 7th chords, 1, 3, 5, 7 with the anticipated 8th note. Do a variation of that, 1, 5, 3, 7, and then 1, 3, 7, 5. Then we did quarter notes, continuous quarter notes, trying as well to get good voice leading through the chord changes. And then we did continuous 8th notes. And then finally, we combined all the note values and rest values in just random to get some rhythm and syncopation. I hope this was helpful. As always, please subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. I'd love to see more of you. Hit the notification bell, all that YouTube stuff, And I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great one. Happy practicing.